St. Thomas Aquinas was a philosopher, theologian, and doctor of the Church. He was one of the most influential and progressive people of his time. His prayer life, spirituality, and writings all gave an admirable example of Catholicism. His life was dedicated to prayer and study, as he wrote many prayers for students. His spirituality began from an early age when he surpassed his peers in the practice of virtue. Then he dedicated most of his time to his writings, which are considered to be his greatest contribution to the Catholic faith. From an early age he asked, "What is God?" He was then ordained in Cologne, Germany in 1250 and went to teach theology at the University of Paris. He expressed that faith and reason are both kinds of knowledge ultimately coming from God. St. Thomas Aquinas believed strongly in his studies, which made him the patron of all students in universities. He wrote many prayers devoted to students. He says, "Pour forth your brilliance upon my dense intellect. Grant me a penetrating mind to understand." In 1239, he was sent to Naples to complete his studies, where he first expressed interest in Aristotle's philosophy. Aristotle developed the first formalized system of reasoning, which inspired St. Thomas Aquinas in the reasoning of God. When he was 5 years old, he started receiving training from the Benedictine monks of Monte Cassino, where he was noted early on as being meditative and devoted to prayer. In 1243, St. Thomas Aquinas changed his family's plans for him and decided to join the Dominicans, where he received the habit of the Order of St. Dominic. His mother then ordered his brothers to capture him. He was imprisoned in the fortress of San Giovanni at Roccasecca for almost 2 years, where his entire family attempted to break his vocation. His family even went as far as sending an impure woman to tempt him, but he rejected her. Later on, he told his friend that night he had implored God to grant him integrity of mind and body. 2 angels then appeared to him in a dream, and from that day he had never again experienced concupiscence. God gave him the gift of perfect chastity, which gave him the title Angelic Doctor. After his family set him free, he went to Paris and then Cologne to complete his studies with Albert the Great. In their journey, he preached in Germany, France, and Italy. Many of the people were drawn to hear what he had to say about the Word of God. He is also honored with the title Doctor of the Church for creating logical beliefs that God truly exists. He said, "We can't have full knowledge all at once. We must start by believing, and then afterwards we may be led on to master the evidence for ourselves." St. Thomas Aquinas proved the existence of God in 5 ways. 1 is observing movement in the world. 2 is observing cause and effect. 3 is impermanent beings prove the existence of a greater being. 4 is there are various levels of human perfection, therefore a greater perfect being must exist. And 5, natural beings could not have the intelligence that they are provided. St. Thomas Aquinas also explained appropriate behavior towards God. He split everything into 3 laws: natural, positive, and eternal. Natural law governs senses of right and wrong, positive law is the law of government, and eternal law is free will and one's spiritual goals. Before composing his writings or studies, he often prayed to God. St. Thomas Aquinas frequently recited the same prayer known as the Prayer of St. Thomas Aquinas before study. The rest of St. Thomas Aquinas' life was focused on praying, studying, and writing, especially the writing of his book, Summa Theologica, his most famous and important work. He wrote close to 60 known works, most of which had handwritten copies and were sent to be read throughout Europe. Summa Theologica has the purpose of instructing beginners on the Catholic truths. It was envisioned to be a sum of all the theology according to Aristotle, his Arabian commentators, and the theological dicta of the Church. It is divided into 3 parts with many subparts. Parts 1 and 2 include the discussion of over 400 questions, and the 3rd part consists of only 90 questions, as he never completed the book. On December 6, 1273, he refused to continue work on not only Summa Theologica, but all of his writings after attending Mass that day. He reported to hear a voice coming to him from a crucifix in a vision. When asked why he stopped writing, he replied, "I can do no more. Such secrets have been revealed to me that all I have written now appears to be of little value." Shortly after his vision, on March 7, 1274, St. Thomas Aquinas passed away at the monastery of Fossanova. In 1323, he was canonized by Pope John XXII. St. Thomas Aquinas changed many people's ideas on the existence of a God. His proofs are still used to prove God's existence today. He is known as the Doctor of the Church, the Angelic Doctor, and one of the greatest philosophers and theologians of all time.